The meeting is called to order, please. Trustee Dack will tell us the actions taken in closed session.
We have two actions that were taken in closed session. One action on a 5-0 vote, the board took action in closed session to deny a student's appeal of an administrative determination of hostile environment harassment based on disability and retaliation. In addition, on a 5-0 vote, the board took action in closed session to release a classified administrator pursuant to Ed Code Section 72411.5 and has authorized the chancellor or designee to take all steps necessary to effect the decision.
Thank you. We will now have the invocation by Trustee Milchiker and Pledge of Allegiance led by Trustee Dack.
The end of the academic year is such a meaningful time for staff and students alike. There's so much to cheer, to celebrate, and to congratulate. Our students are transferring to the school of their dreams and beginning meaningful careers in their communities. We support them with their time, our encouragement, and our resources to help them on their way. I was fortunate enough to attend 4 scholarship events in the last 4 days, and I'll attend another one next week and another one in August. The highlights of these events is hearing our scholarship recipients, including our Saddleback ASG president, Noah Aguilar, sharing their stories at the commencement. These students' trials, challenges, perseverance, and dreams for a better future. They express gratitude not only for the financial support that allows them to continue their education, but for the emotional support that comes from knowing that someone truly believes in them. And our donors, many of you who are here today, many of you are donors, many of our staff are donors, professors, classified professionals, administrators, local community organizations, and individuals who give so generously because they believe in the importance of education and in the promise to our students making something of their lives. By hearing these stories and interactions with our students, they see firsthand the wonderful assets Saddleback and Irvine Valley College have for our students and for our communities. These celebrations honor our students, thank our donors, and create a powerful sense of connection, gratitude, and community, something that all of us need. So tonight, let us reflect on the difference we can make on the lives of others through encouragement, opportunities, and service. And let us continue our work and all of our work with gratitude, compassion, and a sense of purpose.
Please join me in reciting our pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next, we have public comments. Please be advised that the board members are not permitted to respond directly to public comments during the meeting. However, board may consider your feedback and may address concerns through future actions or discussions as appropriate. The first public comment is Kristen Shawnsby.
Good evening, everyone. I'm honored to be here in person as an avid YouTube viewer of these meetings. I've met many of our esteemed board members at various events on campus, and I'm really thankful for the work that you do to sustain our colleges. I have the great pleasure of teaching composition, literature, and creative writing courses at IVC as a full-time faculty member, but I'm also an Orange County resident, born and raised, as well as a parent of 2 children who attend public school in Orange County. In March of 2025, I watched on YouTube as a contract with a company called Victory AI Academy was briefly discussed. The contract proposes that the company will build a K-12 private school with dormitories and a tennis academy on ATEP land. While I certainly understand the value of investment in our district that allows for the good work that we all do to continue, I think that the monetary payout reflects a short-term investment with more dire consequences in the long term. I am asking if the board would please reconsider its contract with AI Victory Academy today, which, if its AI-generated website victory.academy is accurate, proposes to serve a wealthy, primarily white clientele who will become the, quote, masters of knowledge that no longer require classroom learning for a diploma, but time with a bot. I worry that the existence of such a facility on our district's property sends a message to our students, faculty, staff, and administrators that the educational environment and culture of our campuses that many of you have witnessed at our events, as was said so beautifully by Trustee Milchiker, can be exchanged for a transactional and elitist for-profit experience, to say nothing of equity. Recently, in my ENGLC 1001 class, students that have conducted independent research projects on the impact of AI on education have looked into the academy. They have discovered ongoing litigation with the company that raises legitimate concerns about its viability and ethical integrity. I have committed my life to my job, and I cherish the experiences I have in the classroom every day. Please reconsider this contract so that we may protect these special places that we pour our souls into every day at both Saddleback and Irvine Valley Colleges. Thank you.
Thank you. The second person is Emily Quinlan.
Good evening. My name is Emily Quinlan. I'm a full-time faculty member here at Saddleback, and I'm here to address a concern about a pay schedule that has been proposed by the district for part-time and full-time faculty teaching this summer. We received an email last Friday, May 8th, and the email it was provided in a handout, and I have copies if anybody here is interested in seeing it. But the email, in summary, states, if your summer teaching assignment starts on June 2nd, you will not be paid for 59 days until July 31st. That's a 59-day pay period, which in my experience with Saddleback is unprecedented, and including for summer pay. If your summer teaching assignment starts on June 15, the July 31 pay date means you will not be paid for 46 days. Again, an unprecedented pay gap. And then finally, the statement at the bottom and within the emails repeated twice essentially states, if you don't like it, then you can quit your summer assignment. And I found this to be so concerning and disturbing, alarming, because first of all, I think it's of dubious legality. I'm not sure that this gap in pay is legitimate or legal. Secondly, the coarseness and terseness of this communication was really hurtful. We have many faculty members who teach in the summer to make ends meet. We have many part-time faculty members who are living paycheck to paycheck. We are facing an economic crisis. Many of our faculty members, especially part-time faculty, travel extensively to teach at Saddleback and are unable to afford to live in our community. And I'm not understanding the excuse of a system that does not permit timely pay. It's, I think, being blamed on Banner again, but the people who put Banner into use and into effect in our district are not missing a paycheck. So I have elaborated further in this document, and I
Thank
hope
you.
that you will consider that. Thank you.
Okay, next, it is our pleasure to welcome our new student trustee, and it's time for him to be sworn in. Please stand and raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Eric Shin,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservations or purpose of evasion,
without any mental
reservations,
reservations or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
that I will well and faithfully discharge
the duties upon which I am about to enter.
about the duties about which I am about to enter.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. This is an exciting opportunity that I get to sit here today and represent the students of both Irvine Valley College and Saddleback College. I would first like to start off by essentially saying a conversation I had with Chancellor Barnes a few weeks ago, and that's what student trustee essentially is in my eyes. And to me, being student trustee of this district is a bridge between the student voice as well as the Board of Trustees, making sure that students are represented in the room where it happens, where everything in the district goes down, and also a liaison between both the students of Saddleback College and the student body of Irvine Valley College as well, making sure that there is a more unified school district. I look forward in the upcoming year to be able to continue representing IVC like I did in the past, as it enters a new future with its new bylaw implementations, as well as new board of directors. And to Saddleback College, I hope in time to learn and be able to represent Saddleback much like I can for IVC and speak up for its causes, issues in every way I can as well. So without further ado, thank you so much, everyone. Over this next year, over these few months, I hope to learn everything and cherish this experience as student trustee. Thank you.
Thank you. We are pleased to have you and wish you a lot of good luck and a great experience. It's now time for everybody else to have a report, so let's start. Trustee Milchiker?
Tonight, I'd like to highlight some of the incredible end of the academic year events I was fortunate to attend. Each reinforced the excellence and caring of our exceptional supportive staff and commendable, conscientious students. Listed in brief comments for each. Saddleback College Employee Recognition Ceremony was meaningful. The Saddleback College Culinary Fashion Show was fabulous. The CLC Honor had a great slideshow. The IVC Ear Party, Leva Alvarez was just lauded incredibly by professors and students alike. Many retired professors came back to talk about her. It was wonderful. The Saddleback College-wide celebration, and President Stern is retiring, so it was very poignant. The Laguna Woods video were four trustees in my old ceramic studio. The Saddleback College transfer celebration, where I was honored to participate in it. The ATEP electric auto competition was fun. Much community and automotive industry support was there. What we need there is digital school marquee to celebrate our programs at ATEP. I'm requesting that. The Saddleback College production of Next to Normal was a powerful musical drama. The Saddleback College Scholarships Ceremony was marvelous, and I was surprised that one of the organizations I'm a member of won the Donor of the Year award at Saddleback College. The IVC Scholarship Ceremony, it was fabulous. Another organization I'm in, Charter 100, donated 19 endowed scholarships and awarded $100,000 in scholarships every year. So, I mean, that wasn't from me. That was from the many people in the organization. Our colleges not only are places of academic excellence, but communities of heart, creativity, opportunity, and transformation. President Stern, sincere thanks for your many years of exceptional service for Saddleback College. And we welcome President Dr. Cordova and student trustee Eric Shin, and can't wait to get to know you both. I love these colleges and can't wait for Thursday's commencement. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Bartlett?
Thank you, Madam President. So since our last board meeting, I've had the pleasure of attending on April 28th, along with Trustee Milchiker, the Saddleback College Employee Recognition Ceremony to honor those that have reached key longevity milestones or special performance awards. And then the May 1st weekend, attended the CCLC Trustee Conference, and that included a lot of really interesting sessions on AI and how AI can help community colleges fight fraud and do other things, the expansion of Pell and Workforce Pell, and the need to make the funds received by students tax-free. We also received updates on the Brown Act and violations and recommendations that, this was interesting because I didn't know this. Trustees not comment or like each other's social media posts to stay clear of potential Brown Act violations. So you go to these conferences and you learn something new every single time. The speakers were excellent and insightful and provided valuable information to the trustees.
On May 7th, I also attended the employees' retirement event for President Stern and retiring faculty and staff. I really enjoyed hearing about each faculty and staff retiree, their accomplishments, and the positive impact each person had during their tenure with the district, along with the incredible legacy that President Stern leaves behind. May 11th, President Inman, Trustee Milchiker, and I went to Laguna Woods to film a commercial to promote our very popular Emeritus program. We all enjoyed interacting with the students in a pottery class and taking a firsthand look at the incredible pottery and clay art pieces. There is some major talent amongst these senior students, and you can't beat the price of admission because it's free. On Thursday, I also look forward to the commencement ceremony at IVC, and again, want to welcome aboard our new student trustee, Eric Shin, and that concludes my board comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Dack?
I'll be keeping it short tonight. I just wanted to recognize all the students that graduated at the Beckman Early College Graduate Breakfast on May 7th. It's always amazing to see how our partnerships within the community really yields results. I think it was one of the larger dual enrollment classes that went through that program, and I don't know, I'm just happy that we have a very strong and positive relationship with Tustin and Beckman in particular. So I hope to be going to those in the future. Thank you.
Trustee Jamal?
First, student trustee Chin, welcome. I'm sure you're going to make a substantial contribution on this board. Second, over the weekend, I try to decompress from all the stuff that's going on, and sometimes I watch YouTube, old comedies. I do like some of the old UK comedies. One of them's you ever watched Yes Minister, Yes Prime Minister, short, brief series. It's pretty crisp comedy. And then oftentimes you watch YouTube, commercials come and you just skip. And I almost skipped this one, and it was the Saddleback College commercial promoting the nursing program. So I had never seen that before, and I saw it over the weekend. It was very well done. So kudos to whoever is managing those advertisements on that aren't streaming. So a couple more things that I look forward to: the science, math, building, ribbon cutting tomorrow, right? That's tomorrow. So that's going to be great, and look forward to that. And then, of course, the commencement on Thursday, and I will be at the IVC commencement this year. So, thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Rydell?
Thank you, Madam President. Good evening, everyone. First of all, I'd like to welcome Eric to the board, and I know this will be a learning experience. And as I used to tell my students, if you're not having fun, leave. But I know that you will have fun along with learning, because I think it's a wonderful blend that you will always remember us. All right. I'd like to let you know that I attended many of the things that were already spoken, so I want to zoom through that. But what I enjoyed the most was the pottery class that we went to at Laguna Woods. I never thought I'd get my hands in that, but I want to tell you, just to watch the men and women that were doing it, I really can understand what they mean by relaxation. That didn't ever mean, or I never thought of it as relaxing, but I really was in touch with it, in touch with the earth, and in touch with people just enjoying a hobby. I also want to share with you that on June 2nd, and I know most of us are going to be gone, but not only does Saddleback help our community in English to learn English, we created a pathway for English language learners in the health sciences. And on June 2nd, refreshments start at 8:45, and the program starts at 10 o'clock. English language learners in healthcare are going to receive their certificates in many of the degrees, in many of the trade practices. So I would like to invite all of you, because you never know if that person's going to be drawing your blood or helping you set up with x-rays, because they are important employees of the disciplines that we really need in Orange County. So I welcome all of you to attend. June 2nd, at the theater, at 10 o'clock, the ceremony starts. Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to say, too, that there were so many events that were really wonderful this time. My two favorites, because they haven't been talked about as much. One was the early college. I didn't understand how much these students had done. It's a organized, I just thought they would take a course and then take another course if they were in the mood. No, this is a structured program where they take 2 courses a semester for the 4 years, and they'll be graduating, well, with a little bit more work than that. They'll be graduating on Thursday night from Irvine Valley. It was just wonderful, and the best part was when they passed the mic around and they got to say what their future plans were. Translation, where they were going. And it was very, very impressive. The only thing more impressive than where they were going was the majors they were going into. They were going into tough, hard, important majors. So what a wonderful opportunity. Not only are they getting a head start on everything, but they've saved their parents a whole bunch of money. So we're happy to be proud of that. We're happy to be part of that. My other one was as the designee to the IVC Foundation. This year was really rather incredible. They were awarded 625 scholarships to 365 students. Okay, the foundation gave out $735,650, which is $150,000 more, or 25% more than last year. That's an incredible improvement. 650, I said, for scholarships, 29,000 plus for emergency funds, and 269,000 plus for outside scholarships. It's really a pleasure to be part of helping our students in this way. And usually you would have a report at this time. Do you have anything else, Eric, that you'd like to say?
I look forward to a great new year. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, wait a minute. Oh, all right. Associated Student Government Reports. Noah Aguilar, Saddleback College.
Hello, my wonderful board. So good to see you all again. It has been a crazy few weeks with finals and all the amazing events happening. To begin my report, as you all know, the semester is coming to an end with us in the middle of finals week. To commemorate the great work of our team the entire year, ASG hosted our end-of-year banquet to honor and recognize those who went above and beyond to contribute to our team. It was a wonderful experience and a great way to send off our transferring students. Aside from this, ASG has been in the process of hiring our new staff and members for the 2026 to 2027 academic year, and of those who have been hired, they are currently undergoing their training for their respective positions. Last year, with the year coming to an end, ASG is planning our transition of power and looking forward to our brand new math and science building. I look forward to seeing it. That is all for my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Brian Nguyen, IVC. Is that right?
Good evening, Board of Trustees and Chancellor Barnes. My name is Brian Nguyen, and I'm the Vice President of External Affairs here on behalf of President Maba Ahmad. To start off my report, ASIVC just finished their special election last week. We introduced 2 executive positions, the Director of Sustainability as well as the Director of Events. We had 51 students running for office, and it was a very successful event, and I congratulate all who were sworn in last Friday. The ASIVC also had their award ceremony as well, where we recognized officers for their hard work this past year. And all of them received medals of achievement, which they will wear to commencement. The award banquet also honored the 80 clubs on campus and recognized the Club of the Year, the Arab Student Union, and the Advisor of the Year, faculty member Mary Simon of the Future Educators Club. We congratulate them both for a very successful school year. In addition to that, IVC also completed a voter registration push in partnership with the League of Women Voters, where IVC currently ranks 4th place statewide for a highest rate of students registered to vote at a California community college. And last but not least, I want to commend President Maba Ahmad for her leadership in heading the Free Campus Printing Initiative. With her committee, Maba visited the governance committees on campus and presented the ASIVC Free Printing Resolution. And so far, the campus has been open and perceptive to the idea, and we hope to see this come to fruition the following year. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Saddleback College Academic Senate, Frank Gonzalez.
No report. Thank you.
Irvine Valley College Academic Senate, Keith Donovan.
Thank you, Board. Thank you, Madam President. I wanted to take the opportunity to thank my colleagues and highlight the excellent work that the Academic Senate has completed this year. Faculty participation in development of the college's missions, visions, goals, tactics in alignment with Inspire 2035 was robust, and it really helped shape the outcomes that the college reached. In addition to that, the Academic Senate advocated and supported faculty through their ongoing implementation of Banner, encouraged the development of short-term vocational curriculum, including a new medical assisting program, and worked with our members to develop communities of practice in order to promote equitable teaching strategies. So those are some of the highlights from the year, and I'd just like to thank you all for having me here.
Faculty Association, Deanna.
Deanna Scherger.
Thank
That's
you.
me. Thank you. I'm always weird with these. First, I just wanted to thank both of the faculty who took the time to come out and speak at public comments tonight. Kristen for talking about our values as educators and what we see as kind of the future and how we can continue our relationships with students in that future. And Emily for speaking to the pay issue with Banner. This is an issue the Faculty Association continues to work with the district on. We actually have another meeting tomorrow, as a matter of fact, to address this lengthy gap, which we know is a hardship for many of our faculty. Today is actually Robert's last board meeting as president, but he couldn't be here because it's his daughter's senior awards banquet, but he did have a statement he wanted me to read, so I'm going to go ahead and read it. As my term of Faculty Association President comes to an end, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the faculty I've had the honor of representing. Serving in this role has been rewarding, challenging, and brought many meaningful experiences. The trust the faculty of SOCCCD placed in me was never something I ever took lightly. During the last 2 years, progress was made on several important areas, however, work remains. There's more to strive for, more to build towards, and more to protect. Education is going through a period of real change and uncertainty, and the work of the Faculty Association to create an optimal and safe working environment for faculty remains vital to our district. In addition, I want to acknowledge the leadership of the board, the district, Irvine Valley College, and Saddleback College. Leadership is not always easy, and neither is working through disagreement, but each of you always made time to hear me out and work through the concerns of the Faculty Association, even when we couldn't find a resolution. That willingness to engage and find solutions matters and is genuinely appreciated. Thank you. Thank you so much, and I'll look forward to next month when I get to be myself.
Thank you. And please tell him that we appreciate his work.
Yes.
Irvine Valley College Classified Senate, Zoraida Quiroz. I said that right.
Good evening, Board of Trustees and Chancellor Barnes. As I conclude my term as Classified Senate President, I want to take a moment to reflect with gratitude and appreciation for the individuals who have supported not only me, but our entire classified community throughout this past year. First, I would like to thank our Classified Senate Executive Board, Ace, Brianna, Anthony, Lisa, Coral, and Sylvia. I want to thank them for their partnership, dedication, and commitment to creating a strong sense of community among classified professionals. Their collaboration and support have made this work meaningful and impactful. I would also like to extend my sincere appreciation to Dr. Armani for her continued guidance, encouragement, and support throughout my time in this role. Thank you as well to President Hernandez and Dr. Martha McDonald for always ensuring that classified professionals have a voice and a seat at the table in a space where we feel valued and heard. One of our goals that our executive board set this year was to intentionally center peer-to-peer engagement among classified professionals. I am proud to say that we expanded our programming opportunities and saw increased participation and engagement across campus. We diversified the types of workshops and events we offer by moving beyond traditional professional development and creating spaces that foster connection, wellness, recognition, and community building. As I wrap up my term, I'm excited to congratulate and welcome the 26-27 Classified Senate Executive Board. Brianna Bell, who is here in the room. Hi, Brianna. Who will be serving as the president. Dr. Sylvia Torres Mendoza, who will be the president-elect. I will continue as past president. Diana Baltazar as vice president of equity. Carlos Romero as communications officer. Anna Lee Gonzalez as secretary. And Our treasurer will be appointed next month. It has been a truly honor to serve in this role and advocate for classified professionals at IVC. Thank you.
Thank you. And last but not least, Police Officers Association Officer Christensen.
No report?
Thank you. Number 5 is public hearings, and we do not have one this evening. Resolution, Trustee Prendergast is at the state finals for his swim team of Beckman High School, so we wish him well. And in his place tonight, Trustee Dack will handle the resolutions.
Agenda item 6.1, resolution recognizing LGBTQIA plus Pride Month. Whereas Pride Month is celebrated each June to commemorate the 1969 Stonewall Uprising in Manhattan, a pivotal moment in the ongoing struggle for LGBTQIA plus civil rights and liberation. Therefore, be it resolved that the South Orange County Community College District Board of Trustees hereby proclaims June 2026 as LGBTQIA plus Pride Month, encouraging all members of the SOCCCD community to honor the past, uplift the present, and commit to a more inclusive and just future. I will entertain a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second?
Moved by Trustee Jamal and seconded by Trustee Bartlett. We can vote.
Okay, the motion carries on a 7-0 vote with Trustee Shen voting yes as well. The motion has carried. 6.2, resolution.
Agenda item 6.2, resolution recognizing May 28th as International World Hunger Day. Whereas hunger is a worldwide problem that affects people without regard for age, ethnicity, gender, employment status, or family size. Therefore, be it resolved that the South Orange County Community College District Board of Trustees does hereby recognize May 28th, 2026 as International World Hunger Day in the South Orange County Community College District, and encourages all employees and students to observe the day with appropriate activities and events to bring awareness to hunger across the world. I will entertain a motion and a second.
So moved.
Moved by Trustee Rydell and seconded by Trustee Milchiker. I'll now call for a vote.
On a 7-0 vote, with student trustee voting as well, the motion carries. Number 7, Board of Trustees and Chancellor. Number 7.1, annual approval for student trustee to receive compensation and to make and second motions for board meetings.
I'll move the item.
Second.
It has been moved by Trustee Dack and seconded by Trustee Jamal. Is there any discussion? If not, let's vote, please. The motion carries. It says here on a 6-0 vote, the motion carries, 1 abstention. Okay. 7.2, biennial elections for members of the governing board. It has been moved by Trustee Milchiker and seconded by
Second.
Trustee Jamal. Discussion? Let's vote, please. The motion carries, 7 votes yes, with Trustee Shen voting yes as well. 7.3, board policy revision for approval. This is, wait. Yeah, okay,
So moved.
thank you. It's been moved by Trustee Jamal
Second.
and seconded by Trustee Dack. Is there any discussion? Okay, let's vote. The motion carries, 7 votes for yes, including student trustee. Okay, number 8 is presentation and discussion item, and 8.1, Saddleback College and Irvine Valley College Advancing Student Equity Update.
Good evening, Board of Trustees. My name is Susana Castellanos, Director of College Equity, Inclusion, and Access at Saddleback College. And I'm here with my colleague, Erin Pollard, Director of College Equity, Inclusion, and Access at Irvine Valley College. Last year, we were both here present to provide you with an update on our equity efforts and our progress. And last November, we submitted to you the Student Equity Plan, the 2025-28 plan for your review and approval, which was then submitted to the State Chancellor's Office in December. And so those documents represent our continued commitment towards identifying and addressing our student equity gaps by providing strategies that address our access and persistence and completion for our students. So for today, we're going to take a different approach to our presentation. Instead of providing you with an overview of these plans or taking a deep dive into data, we're going to instead be sharing with you how we are advancing student equity through the stories of two of our students, which highlight the challenges that many of our students are currently navigating. So our goal for today is to show how equity programming supports student success and how it aligns with Inspire 2035 and Vision 2030.
I once heard a student say, "The worst thing you can do is sell someone a dream that could never be obtained." He was talking about the dream of changing your life through higher education with the California Community College system, and how this didn't really feel possible for him. This student happened to be formerly incarcerated, a single parent who took public transportation nearly 2 hours each way to school and back. By the time he could make it to campus, many of the services were closed, and he didn't understand how to enroll, apply for financial aid, or what the steps even were. If we were going to sell the dream of higher education to our community, we need to be sure that every student can truly access that dream. This involves continually changing our practices and supports offered to students to meet the needs of our ever-changing student demographics. I'd like to introduce you to Sarah. She's a student at IVC. I've gotten the chance to know Sarah quite well over the past 3 years while she worked in the IVC Basic Needs Center as a College Corps member and then as a student staff member. She began IVC without a place to live, without the benefit of family support or consistent schooling experience in the K-12 system. Even though Sarah had been in and out of multiple foster care homes across 2 states and Mexico, she carries a permanent medical condition as a lingering effect of a previous violent attack. Sarah was determined to follow her higher education dreams while also supporting her younger brother, of which she is a guardian.
I would like to introduce to you Wendy Sarinana. She is a first-generation 25-plus student at Saddleback College. And when she first decided to attend college, she did not have the goal of attaining a certificate program or even considering an associate's degree program. Her sole goal was to take one class in order to support her mental and emotional well-being. At that time, she identified as justice impacted, and she was dealing with a medical condition that resulted in physical and speech therapy, and then she was also dealing with depression. And so because of her lived experiences, Wendy thought that college, specifically any college, not just Saddleback, was not for her. She was in fear that she was going to fail. However, that decision to take just that one course began her transformation, and I'll be sharing with you a little later on where she is today. But the stories of Sarah and Wendy reflect the lived reality of many of our students. When we hear about their experiences, it raises important questions for us as educators and leaders. And one of those questions is, how do we respond to the students whose lives and circumstances are different and do not fit the traditional design of higher education? So this is where we shift from individual story to institutional responsibility through the principles of DEIA, or diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility. We must begin to recognize that higher education was originally built with the traditional student in mind, and the reality is that not all of our students are traditional students. They come to our campuses with diverse experiences. And so we must examine our own systems, looking closely at student success gaps and continually asking ourselves, where do we need to improve? Which leads us to determine what obstacles are standing in the way for our students and how can we remove them through more intentional, tailored support strategies. And finally, we must recognize that this is a shared responsibility, understanding that student success is not the work of one office or one program. It's a collective effort for the entire college and a district-wide commitment. And so building on this shared responsibility, the next question becomes, why does this approach matter for all of our students? When we apply the DEIA lens to our work, we're not focusing on a single group or a single student. We are strengthening the entire system of student support. This leads us to the broader benefit of DEIA, where we see that equity-focused practices are not only about closing gaps, but it's also about improving outcomes and experiences for everyone in our college community. Understanding the benefits of DEIA is important, but what truly brings this work to life is how it shows up in our day-to-day practices across the district. What you see in this slide is not only shared responsibility, but collective ownership. What we see in student services is that both campuses are working to provide programming for sense of belonging. We have access for all of our students to our basic needs centers, and we are engaging in campaigns to increase engagement from our students. In terms of instruction, it's not only about providing learning resources of support to our students, but also supporting our faculty. We provide dashboards for disaggregated course success rate data that they can use to reflect to improve classroom instruction in the future. Administrative services also has some projects in the pipeline. At Irvine Valley College, they have the building remaining process, and at Saddleback, we have the wayfinding project. These are all projects that are looking into accessibility so that when our student steps on our campus, they have a more improved and positive experience as they access touch points of student support. And then we have our district-wide efforts, our caring campus philosophy, and our decision-making through disaggregated data.
Equity principles are highlighted throughout our district's values and priorities. Clearly stated in Inspire 2035, we are committed to identifying and addressing systemic barriers to ensure fair access, opportunities, and outcome for every member of our community. These commitments will continue to examine, through these commitments, we will continue to examine our own practices and identify barriers students may experience, not only accessing education, but truly thriving through their academic experience in our district. These values are also in alignment with state priorities. As you can see, the goals focus not only on improvement within student success, access, and support, but to achieve these goals with equitable outcomes for various communities of students. When the data is disaggregated by identifiers such as age, race, full-time or part-time status, or even life experiences, such as formerly incarcerated or former foster youth, we begin to see a more accurate picture of the varied outcomes our students experience. The California Community College's Chancellor's Office is asking all campuses to ensure that regardless of the starting point of our students, they all succeed together through our system. So how do we know it's working? The answer is data. Data allows us to move from intention to impact. It helps us understand where students are succeeding, where barriers still exist, and where we need to adjust our practices to better serve them. Today, we heard from students that identify as first generation and are from diverse ethnic backgrounds. Although today we will not be focusing on data, we want to briefly share how data helps us with decision-making and progress tracking. What we generally do is compare our disaggregated data against our entire student population, and our goal is to identify where systems of support are needed and for which communities. This is the overall goal of our student equity plan. This document helps us examine student success rates and identify students that are experiencing disproportionate impact. For both campuses, the work of the next 3 years is to ensure that all students are receiving the support they need to succeed and achieve their academic goals. All right, let's revisit our students. Today, Sarah is thriving. In fact, if you attended IVC's scholarship ceremony, you may be very familiar with her, as she was a highlighted speaker for the event. She is now waiting to receive the final financial aid offers from her top 2 schools, which she got into both of them, USC and UCLA, before she makes her final decisions to transfer into an aerospace major. During her time at IVC, Sarah received support to meet her individual needs. She received food support through Basic Needs. She earned volunteering experience and grants through the College Corps program. Guardian Scholars provided community and belonging for her identity and experience as a former foster youth. The Math, Engineering, Science, and Achievement, MESA, program provided specialized tutoring and study spaces for those underrepresented in STEM, and so much more. You may notice that she was also selected for a highly competitive NASA missions research internship. That is because Sarah is exceptional, but students shouldn't have to be exceptional to beat the odds on their own. IVC has invested in programming and support structures for students like Sarah, so student success is never left up to chance. In thinking about making the dream of higher education possible for students, Sarah has shared, "I am the first person in my family to go to college, and growing up, I did not think I would ever be here."
Circling back to Wendy. Wendy went from being doubtful about becoming a college student to engaging in key support systems here at Saddleback College. Those include Rising Scholars. That's a program that supports system-impacted students, access to our basic needs centers. She's part of the EOPS and DSPS programs. And it all took by taking that first course. When she saw that she successfully completed the course and did not fail, and she started to seek mentorship and advice from her academic counselors and took an additional course, which led to an additional course, and eventually decided to pursue her dream to become a park ranger. So as of today, she's almost finished with completing her ecological restoration certificate. That's something that she did not plan, and definitely did not plan pursuing an associate's degree, and is about to finish her associate's degree in drug and alcohol counseling. Most recently, she became the recipient of the Eden Housing National Scholarship and was recognized by Assemblywoman Kate Sanchez with a certificate of recognition. That is the picture that you see there today. And she is also very active outside of the campus and into her community. She's a volunteer at the Pacific Crest Trail and the Phoenix. So this is what equity is about at the colleges. It's about recognizing the unique stories of our students and providing them with the support systems that they need in order to be successful in achieving their academic or career goals. So I wanted to also share a quote that she shared with us that captures where she started and where she stands today. She states, "I started college during a difficult time in my life. Unsure of myself and my future, what began as one class for my mental health turned into a path forward. And for the first time, I can see myself reaching for a future I never thought was possible." And so we wanted to close this presentation today to emphasize the meaning of our equity work, and we leave you with this. Equity is not giving every student the same thing. Equity is about giving every student what they need in order to succeed. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Is there any discussion or questions?
Yeah.
Trustee Milchiker?
Yes, when I was reading the agenda, I was very excited to see that you're highlighting Sarah Fayyad. I know her very well because she's one of the Charter 100 scholars. And Charter 100 not only gives these students scholarships, but they mentor them along the way. And she gets invited and gets invited to all the luncheons, and we get to know her really well. And she's a brilliant engineering student. And I tried to recruit her for the Mars rover team at Saddleback College because she's going into aeronautics. And she was very interested, and the students welcomed her here. But she was so very busy with her work at Irvine Valley College and her very rigorous coursework that she didn't have time. So she's, and when I heard her speak at the Irvine Valley College scholarship award ceremony, I connected even more because there were certain things that we connected very, very strongly with. So, when you read these student scholarship applications and you have to pick the student, you really learn about these students' lives, and it really makes you want to help them. So what you do is great. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Trustee Jamal?
Yeah, thank you for the very good presentation. Appreciate all the work you're doing. I guess I had a basic question. How does a student who is having difficulty feeling equitable get access to you? Like, how do students, is there a process for that?
Well, we try our best to make lots of different access points and to make these very visible. So whether a student goes into financial aid or counseling or runs into one of our flyers across campus, the community, the employees on campus are all positioned to help the student find the help that they need. In fact, it's one of the Caring Campus philosophies that any point that the student first meets, that they're well informed from that one point person about the other services that are available on campus to try to connect them to the ones that they need. Because as hard as we try to educate the students or to advertise in awareness campaigns, it's impossible to know all of the services that are available to students in our district.
So you actually have marketing flyers on
Yeah.
campuses to contact the equity office?
I do, yes, but also each individual program that were listed on the students' pages, on their slides, they all have individual program flyers as well.
Thank you.
So for Saddleback College, similar approach where we connect with and partner and collaborate with other offices to ensure that they are informed of the services that are under our office. So in our office, we not only oversee the Student Equity and Achievement Program, we have support systems like Rising Scholars, the OMP program, the LGBTQ plus grant, our undocumented Dreamers grant. And then we recently put the Basic Needs Center, and we recently put all that together into the one space that we now know as the Den, which houses our Multicultural Center and our LGBTQ plus center. So we've created a space where students can congregate and feel comfortable to share their stories, the non-academic challenges that they are experiencing outside of the classroom, in a space where they're not identified specifically to what support they're accessing. So for example, maybe in other campuses, they do have a Dream Center, or they have other specific centers. Here, we have a space where the student can walk in and nobody will identify why they're there, to protect their stories, their traumas, their experiences. And so when they feel that there's that comfortable space, we are ready to support them by providing them holistic services of what we provide there in that space directly, or partner with our community resources and our on-campus resources as well.
Thank you.
Trustee Rydell?
Two things. I really want to thank you for giving your presentation through students. I truly will now, well, I did before, but remember even more what you do. And you have given us the meaning of what we do here, truly. I also like to thank faculty. I do know from going to other meetings, when I went to some of the meetings for the foundation, is that faculty identifies students. And I think that's ever so important. And they have been given opportunities to learn more about what we do on campus. And I really applaud that all of us on campus and the centers on campus, we can't miss them. So I really appreciate what you do.
Our student trustee would like to share something?
So on a student perspective, especially with students like Sarah, for example, I've actually known Sarah for quite a while now, just as a student. And I think in terms of marketing or the way these programs actually get around is also by the word of mouth as well. Because, as people like Ms. Brianna Bell would know, I'm going to the Student Activity Center all the time. I meet Sarah all the time. They get a free snack at the spot. And during that process, I got to meet Sarah. I got to meet students who've used these programs to kind of succeed in the ways they're going through. And that is essentially, people like Sarah are trailblazers for students like us who go through those systems, and we learn about that and we apply ourselves into that. I feel like that's Not really, there's no quantitative measure to that, but at the same time, that's how students know things, and ultimately how our populations in those equitable fields grow. Like, for me, example, I'm an EOPS student myself, and I got to know a lot of that through students who are also in EOPS as well. It's kind of that process where it just trickles down.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions from the board? Okay, well, thank you very much. That was great. Number 9 is the consent calendar. Are there any polls? Trustee Bartlett,
9.8, please.
9.8. Any others? Okay, is that all?
I move the balance.
I'll second.
The balance has been moved by trustee Jamal and seconded by trustee Dack. Let's vote, please. The motion carries 7-0, including trustee Shin, student trustee. Thank you. Let's now go to trustee Bartlett for 9.8.
Okay, thank you, Madam President. So I just have a quick question. On Exhibit B, page 1 of 1, item number 7, there's an Emerald Cove Day Camp in San Clemente. It's providing, I think, $25,000 in revenue, providing summer day camp through community education. Are we providing the venue, or are we providing teachers? Because I think it's for students ages 5 through 10. And I couldn't figure, I Googled it online and I still couldn't figure out the nexus with our district and this program.
Trustee Bartlett will get more information on it, but it's through our community ed program, and much of the community ed we deliver with a third-party vendor. So I suspect this is one such program where we're actually using a vendor contract to deliver the actual teaching and learning, and we provide the connection to the people who sign up for those classes and then oversee it.
Okay, because the population is like 5-year-olds and to 10-year-olds. And I thought, community college, so I was just trying to connect all the dots.
It's a fair question, and we sometimes talk about mission creep, but in community ed, it's very important that we look at this as serving the K-12 population as well. So for instance, those elementary school kiddos in summer programs and after-school programs may become familiar with Saddleback College by virtue of taking those classes and think about us. We know that the decisions about where to go to college sometimes are made by middle school, so we do need to build those relationships in the community as we go along. But we are, as I speak, looking very carefully at the populations we serve in community ed and doing a bit of rethinking.
Okay, thank you for that clarity. That makes a big difference. With that, I'll move this item.
Second.
I'll second it.
It has been moved by trustee Bartlett and seconded by trustee Dack that we approve, where are we? 9.8. Let's vote, please. Okay, the motion carries 7-0 with student trustee also voting yes. Okay, we are now to number 10, business services. 10.1, authorization to enter into donation agreement for Irvine Valley College naming rights in Student Activities Center, Room 140, Fawn Tanra Verde. Is there any discussion?
Yes.
Trustee Milchiker.
Yeah, I just
I
want to,
think, don't we need a motion in a second?
okay, so move then.
Second.
Okay, it has been moved by trustee Milchiker and seconded by trustee Jamal. And now, Milchiker, you may
I just
talk.
want to highlight this because Tanra Verde is a retired EOPS care counselor from Irvine Valley College. And she is donating $25,000 to Irvine Valley College to have naming rights for this particular building, which is a food pantry for students at Irvine Valley College. And what she's naming it as is Estes Teens Irvine Food Pantry. She's not naming it after herself because these students, who are, I think, a subset of the Assistance League, but they're teenagers, and they not only purchase all the food for the food pantry for the Saddleback College students, Irvine Valley College students, but they shop for it and they stock it, and several times a year they stock it with food, and they make sure it's stocked, and they make sure that there's always food there. And also, she has a endowed scholarship named after her, because when she retired, her colleagues she dedicated her career to helping low-income IVC students and her quest for education to ensure legacy of her, and so to make sure endowed scholarships make sure that the work goes on for perpetuity. Some of my organizations have endowed scholarships. They're wonderful. You don't have to raise any more money. The students get wonderful scholarships just out of the interest. So that's the great way to do it. Just give them money once, and they get paid every single year into perpetuity. So I certainly thank her for this donation, and I guess this room is going to be, so far, is going to be in the Student Activity Center at Irvine Valley College. Thank you. Thank you,
Is
Dawn.
there any
I
other
mean, thank you, Fawn,
discussion?
sorry.
Oh, sorry. Is there any other discussion? Okay, let's vote on that, please. Okay, the motion carries 7-0, including student trustee Shen. Okay, 10.2, Irvine Valley College Student-Focused Campus-Wide Signage Project, award of bid number 14031-2026, Square Signs, LLC, etc. A motion?
So move.
Second.
It has been moved by trustee Milchiker and seconded by trustee Dack. Is there any discussion or questions?
Yes, Madam President. So I think you explained it somewhat. I trust that this is Anne Marie's item, Vice Chancellor of Business Services. So having only 2 bids is not as robust as I would like to see. But what's the explanation for that? I think there seems to be one, and maybe we can look to try to address it in the future.
Yeah, so, originally when, with every bid, we have a mandatory pre-job walk. And so we originally held that job walk on March 24th. There were only 3 contractors. At that point in time, I requested that we have a second job walk to try to drum up additional interest in the project. And so we did hold another one on April 1st, whereby we received 12 additional folks. So we had a total of 15 folks that did the job walk. Unfortunately, only 2 of them decided to bid. I think the reason being is because of the complexity of the project. So this is the campus-wide signage project at Irvine Valley College. So it's highly specialized scope that they need to have the ability to understand accessibility as well as wayfinding and provide electrical contracting license for that. So I think the highly specialized nature as well as many of the contractors who are signage contractors typically don't have that electrical contracting license. And so they weren't able to bid on it even though they showed up, or they chose not to try to get a sub to do it. I mean,
Oh, you
because that's
just took
typically what
I
they
was
would
going
do.
to ask you about getting a subcontractor.
Yeah, they could have, but I guess they chose not to. So, that was kind of, when we only received the 2, that's why they reached out to the other ones to find out. And those were kind of the 2 key areas of the rationale of why the others didn't bid on it.
Yeah, you don't, though it's not based on not being a competitive RFP, I mean, in terms of our price or willingness to pay, that wasn't the deterrent.
No, I don't think so. I mean, even though the bids that did come in, they did come in lower than what our engineering estimate was, so that's always a good thing.
Maybe you shouldn't say that.
Well, I mean, we like it when bids come in less than what we expect them to.
I know, I do too, but want them to keep coming in lower than we expected. Okay, all right, it just didn't seem like an overly complex project based on some of the projects across Southern California.
I think it's just the specialty nature of it. I mean, typically when you see signage projects, there's just a few people who's, oh, we're just building signs. But then when they understand that it's actually monument signs that you have to construct, and then there's electricity, that kind of makes it a little bit more complex.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or discussion? Trustee Bartlett?
Thank you, Madam President. So I had some of the same questions as Trustee Jamal, because we had a similar project at the county, and they had a lot of bidders. So that's why I was questioning too, and I didn't know, is it something on our outreach or what was going on here with Planet Bids? And then secondly, we're to select the lowest responsible bid. But when we're looking at the exhibit, all we have is pricing. So we don't know who the team members are, project managers, qualifications, were there interviews, what is the scoring? We don't have any of that comparative data to be able to figure out, okay, is it responsive? So they've got the lowest price, but is it the responsive bid? So we're missing some, I think, elements of what went through the RFP process.
So when this bid in particular was a low bid environment. It was not best value. I think a lot of the factors that you are indicating come into play when it's a best value project, and this was not best value. This was truly low bid. We do our due diligence when bids come in, and we, evaluate the contractor at that time. We look into their license to make sure that their license is correct. We're looking into, various other aspects to make sure that they are responsible and responsive. But we do not look at their PMs and the individuals assigned to it, because that is not part of one of the things that we can evaluate when it's a low bid environment versus a best value environment.
Okay, so if it's low bid and it's not best value, then I mean, what are the specific checkboxes? If you're looking at price and they've got a low price, it's below the engineer's estimate, but in comparison to the other firm, which is about 500,000 higher, what are the checkboxes then if you're looking at low price and that's the determining factor? So what other things come into play then?
And I will let my executive director, Priya Jerome, come up and she knows all of those details. She can rattle them off much quicker than I can.
Good evening, trustees. Thank you for the question. So in a low bid environment, we're predicated for the process by Public Contracting Code 2651. And what the Public Contracting Code dictates in a low bid environment is for us to identify specifications, put our bid documents together, and identify all of the requirements up front. So typically, when we do a construction bid like this, we have an architect that we hire beforehand, go through DSA approvals and what have you. So there is really no, there is no scope within this project when we put it out where there is any difference in or ambiguity in what is being presented to the bidders. So when we give those documents out, there are several documents that totally encompasses the contract documents, and they present the bid. The only allowable thing that they, having all the scope identified completely, they are bidding on the price and the documents that are associated with that. Their listing of general, their subcontractors, their non-contracting ad documents, the work comp, insurance, and what have you is all specified. Most importantly, though, in the bid documents, we also have a pre-qualification statement, which is a self-marking document where if a contractor does not meet the pre-qualification requirements, they automatically fall out of the requirements for submitting a bid.
Okay, did you say in the pre-qual documents, they check the boxes?
They have to self-attest, yes.
Ooh, okay.
Under perjury, but we also have a way to verify, validate everything. Like, for example, the EMR rates, their licensing requirements, we do reference checks. We also ask for project, comparable projects that they've completed. So it's a very extensive pre-qualification document that we have, which goes out as part of the bidding.
Okay, good, so you've got some checks and balances there. Great, thank you.
Are there any other comments or questions?
Oh, the student trustee.
Yes, student trustee?
I had a brief question on just the amount that's being allocated. When this came up to the Associated Students of Irvine Valley College a few weeks ago, they mentioned how this would cost somewhere around $3 million-ish, but looking at it right now, it says $4,200,000. So I was just kind of curious on that. Was it always was it always the 4 million, or was it just the 3, or was it 3 million or some change like that? I was just kind of confused.
So the budget for the project is 4.2 million, and that is all encompassing of all the soft costs that go into it. So you have to pay for your inspectors, you have to pay for your project managers, as well as the general contractor. So it's typically, about 40% of more cost than what you're paying the general contractor for all the other, what we call soft costs that go along with the project.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions or discussion? Okay, let's vote. The motion carries on a 7-0 vote, including the student trustee Shin. 10.3, parking lot 5A resurfacing project at Saddleback College, award of bid to 14168-2026, asphalt fabric and engineering. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
It has been moved by trustee Dack and seconded by trustee Jamal. Is there any discussion or questions? Trustee Jamal?
Does this project include battery storage? And is there,
I thought about that.
how could we not ask that question?
I thought about it.
Yes, this one does. No. This is IVCs. This does not include battery storage for IVC.
The next one.
Oh, the next one, right.
Next one, yeah.
But this one doesn't.
It does not.
Okay.
Is there any other discussion, trustee Bartlett?
But then again, we only have 2 bids, and I understand, they weren't able to provide the particular electric light wave certification.
Is this 10.2?
No, we're on
Three.
10.3.
Oh, sorry.
So it's just, is this another low bid
Yes.
contract? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Whether under the engineer's estimate, I guess you've done all the check boxes, and we're going with the lowest bidder then. Okay.
Any other comments or questions? Okay, seeing none, let's vote. The motion carries on a 7-0 vote, which includes student trustee Shin. 10.4, Phase 2 Solar Canopy and Battery Storage Project at Saddleback College, award of bid 14225-2026, Icon West Incorporated. A motion?
Oh, so moved, but
It's been moved by trustee Milchiker and
I second it. And this was I think this is the project I meant to ask, so it does
Right.
include battery storage. And is it Icon West, are they subbing out the battery storage component, or they're doing everything? Didn't they win the bid, Icon West?
Icon West did win the bid. They are constructing it. They are
subbing?
subcontracting out, yes.
Do we know who the subcontractor is?
Circuit City? Circle? City? Circle City Electric.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Elliot, anything to say about this project?
Only that we want to put the use of batteries in their appropriate scale. We are not serving as a satellite for a community. We are only doing a modest amount of battery storage to even out the demand and the supply. So if the sun is providing a lot of electricity during the sun hours, we need to run a campus at night, and the only way we can do that is to store some of the batteries.
Okay.
And I will say that when we updated our CEQA a few months past, we did have the battery storage already in our CEQA document, so we did already evaluate that through the CEQA process and finalized all that piece.
Okay.
and I have.
All right, thank you.
Trustee Milchiker?
I just thought it was interesting that you actually solicited 518 contractors and only received 4 bids.
Yeah.
I would think with the economy out there, more people would have bid. And then you choose the lowest bid after reviewing the work and making sure they were the right company. I think it was about $17,000. I don't have it right in front of me. For the solar canopy and the electricity for the college, solar electricity. So why would you have solicited 518 contractors and only received 4 bids when this is kind of a tough economy out there? Do you have?
So we use a bidding platform called Planet Bids, and in that bidding platform are all of the vendors and contractors that would meet the contracting experience and the licensing that is required for this project. And so when we put the bid up on Planet Bids, it goes out and shoots out emails to all of those various contractors and vendors. So that's why it hits a broad range. I will say it is a very competitive market right now. There are a lot of construction contracts going on out there. You have, for public works, there is a lot happening. So we're not getting, the contractors aren't hungry like they used to be. So it is harder and harder to try to get more folks to bid on things. And it needs to be lucrative for them to do so.
That's very interesting. So for the contractors, their business is booming. So that's interesting. Well, thank you.
Is there any other discussion or questions? Trustee Bartlett?
Thank you, Madam President. Okay, is this another low bid contract?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so I guess my concerns are, I know we had some issues relative to the Solar Canopy 1 project, but we've got that finished, got over the hump and had change orders and such. So I did take a look at Icon West, and it looked like they had done solar canopies and EV charging, not the battery storage. So good to know that they're subbing that out. I didn't know until tonight, though, they've got Circle City Electric, which I have no idea anything about that company. It would be good to have that information about if they don't have the expertise within their purview, that they are subbing it out, just so we know that all the bases are supposedly covered. Because in looking at this, it kind of raised a red flag with me, because their proposal is low bid, but they're 1.3 million over 1.3 million under the engineer's estimate, which led me to believe that, okay, they do EV charging, they do solar canopies, they're not really doing any battery storage work. I wonder if they know how to bid the project correctly. The last thing we want is for them not to bid correctly, underbid it by a lot, especially if they've got a sub, and then we end up with change orders and end up with extra costs and delays. I guess that's my concern.
We do have experience with this contractor, Icon West. They are the contractor that is currently building our math and computer science building. We've had a very good experience with them, so I don't anticipate them to underbid and then try to change order it up. It's not the experience that we've had with them in the past.
Okay. And I understand if we were building a math and science building, but we're building a battery storage facility, and that's where they don't have the experience, but they're going to sub it out. So that's where I just had some questions about their costs, because they're going to need to make a profit, and then obviously the subcontractor has to make a profit, and they're still over 1.3 million under the engineer's estimate. So I guess I'm just trying to grasp, do they really understand the scope of a battery storage project that they have not done before?
And I can look to my team. I mean, I would assert that they do. They are a very reputable firm, so I think they do know what they're getting into. But I don't know if Mary or Priya, if you guys have anything that you would like to add?
I did a quick analysis of all the different components that go in to make this project, and the battery equipment alone is only 7% of the total project cost and the total project scope. So there is the whole PV, photovoltaic panels, the battery equipment, electrical infrastructure. So the infrastructure itself is a lot, which is at 21%. The labor is at 27%. So when I look at the analysis, the battery equipment and storage is a smaller component of the whole project, and that makes sense on why they are subcontracting the work. But when it comes to everything else, these guys, Icon West has a lot of experience in doing that.
Okay, all right, thank you for the clarification.
Okay. Was there any, Trustee Rydell?
I just have a quick question. If we do have subcontractors, maybe we should list them. I mean, we're all sensitive to battery storage for many reasons in this room. So, because it really is Icon West, but the other, the sensitivity of storage in this matter is very important. And I think it would help us right away to say, oh, okay, so we have two, I guess you can only put the one bidder. I know I'm sounding confused, but I just think that's important when they subcontract out, that we know that they're going to subcontract out. No?
So we know that internally. I mean, if that's something that the entire board would like us to start adding to our packets, we can. I would say almost every single construction project we do, they have subcontractors.
Okay.
You know, so that's kind of the model that we use is we hire general contractors, and for the areas that either they don't want to self-perform or they may not have the appropriate licensing, then they do subcontract it out, and then it's the general contractor's responsibility to ensure that they stay within, you know,
Yes.
the budget that they provide to them, and that they are the ones that are overseeing that. You know, there are, another method of procuring construction is multi-prime, to where we would issue a contract for every single trade or subcontract. But that's a lot more, I would say, administratively burdensome on staff. And so that's kind of why we would go with the general contractor model.
I better understand that now, Vice President Gable. I just think the sensitivity of the storage was paramount in my eyes when I was reading it. And two, to have 518 contractors who may have or may not have read this, it just was hard to see that 4 gave bids on this. And you said that right now there's a lot of building going on and stuff. I can appreciate that better, but it just seemed mathematically that we should have had more people respond to it. Yeah.
Is
Thank
there
you.
any other discussion? Yes?
So I took a quick look at their website. They've got a considerable experience, schools and universities, experience with aviation, water treatment facilities, medical centers, stadiums, sports parks, museums, and hospitality. I don't see anything related to battery storage projects, but I'm sure it must be in there somewhere. So we've confirmed with this subcontractor, or has Icon West, that this entity has actually performed a battery storage project. That would be good to know.
I don't know. They could be subbing out work because they're allowed to sub-tier it as well.
You're saying the sub is subbing out to somebody else?
It's possible. I don't know that specifically.
Yeah. See, without knowing that information, I'm not comfortable saying we've got an entity that knows how to do battery storage, because this is a touchy subject with everybody in the community. And we don't even really I don't have a high level of confidence that the entity out there can perform the scope of work. I mean, I'm not seeing it on their website, and now we're hearing that they may be subbing out. So in connecting all the dots, I just don't have that comfort level.
You know, I would say once the board authorizes us to award the bid, that's when we have all the meetings with the contractor, and that's when they bring in all their subs, and that's when we start looking at everything at that point in time where we're looking at more details of what their plan really is. They do list, you know, their subs in their bids, but if the subs are planning to sub, that's not listed in the bid, but it would be something that we would find out later.
But that's after contract award. And so
Correct.
then if they don't have, so we award the contract, and if they don't have the experience and the sub that they're subbing out to doesn't really have that experience, then what do? We've awarded a contract. Do we cancel it? Do we go back out to RFP, or what happens at that point? I just assume we get all the information up front and that you have that level of comfort, and we do too, that they can actually pull off the scope of work.
So the general contractor is required to perform the scope of the work of what has been awarded to them. If they do not perform the scope of work, or if they choose not to perform the scope of work, then the district can go after their surety to demand that the surety can come in and take over the project as one option, or the surety can force them to do the project for what they've been awarded to. So it's really, the onus is on the contractor to bid on something that they are confident that they can do, And like I said, we've had experience with this contractor in the past, and we haven't had any issues with them. I can't say that about every single contractor that we've used. This is a good contractor that we're comfortable with.
Yes, and I'm comfortable with the contractor on things that they've done for us, math and science building and other things. But battery storage is a completely different animal. So we're kind of comparing apples and oranges. And they're not doing the work, they're subbing it out, and then maybe a sub to the sub. So I would just as soon find out up front that the sub or the sub to the sub can actually complete the scope of work before we award the contract to the selected vendor.
So it seems like there's several factors happening right now. I think we're going to need to dig in a little bit more deeply with the board with regard to our RFP process. Secondly, it seems to me that there is possibly an opportunity to kind of revisit what we present to the board in this, with these bids. And then third, what I've heard as well is just some sensitivity to the battery storage because, rightfully so with regard to what happened. I think that's going to have to be a reminder to the board. Last time I think the piece on SOCCCD carrying out battery energy storage projects was kind of in the shadows, so to speak, but I had brought to the board information about our own battery storage projects, and as President Stern already mentioned, it's very different from what we were signing on to with the MOU, which obviously the board moved to not move forward with that. But ours are way different. They're smaller in scope. They're located in different locations. So we're not trying to power up an entire community. So
Right.
I think we have to. So there's several things: the RFP process, the information that we share with the board, and then third, reminding the board about our own battery storage projects, which are very different from the one that we were working on we weren't working on, the one for which we signed an MOU. So I think we need to illuminate that for the board again as well.
So Anne Marie, is there an urgency to get this approved on tonight's agenda?
I would say the urgency of this is we wanted to get them under contract and for construction to begin before June 30th so that we could qualify for the One Big
Inflation
Beautiful
Reduction
Act.
Act.
And if we don't do that, then we won't be able to apply for the Reduction Act funds.
Okay. And so for those of you who aren't familiar with the Inflation Reduction Act, we pay up front for the project, but then we get up to 50% rebate, which is huge. So that covers a great portion of the project cost.
Yeah, I'm familiar.
Yeah.
So, I think the Chancellor had really some good comments here. Did you want to say something?
I just wanted to say that this was not an RFP process. It is a bid process dictated by public contracting code. Every single specification, especially when the subcontractor listing is presented by the general contractor, they only have, at the time of bid, they only have numbers that they can get. The sub to the sub, those numbers don't come in until much later after the project has mobilized. So even if we were to ask, it's very hard to get a general contractor to find a subcontractor who will then find the sub to the sub because they may not have even mobilized that kind of work. The backup we have under the public contracting code guidelines is the surety. So if any time a contractor fails to perform, we go after the surety. That is how we guarantee this kind of work and make sure that we are protected as a public agency. I just wanted to provide that clarification.
No, I appreciate that, and I think that's important, and I think in this capacity, we're an oversight board, we're obviously a representation of the taxpayers and the concerns of the community, but at the same time, we do delegate to the management team and to the administration to undertake the process, whether it's a bid process or RFP, to do it with due diligence. So, that's our expectation. I think you've set a good standard, Vice Chancellor Gable, for doing that. And so if the board needs a refresher on that process, I think that's fine. I don't even know, Chancellor, if it's even in the board policy at all, the process itself, is it? Or is that more in the That's that process in the administrative regulation?
The AR just
Yeah, it's
our,
more in the AR.
yeah.
Yeah, so maybe, I don't know, at some point, we should talk about that. And we certainly don't want to lose out on the
Right.
funding opportunity here. But there are understandable concerns about, battery storage in the community, and we want people to understand what exactly we're doing, and that we're doing it, safely and in the interests of our students and this college.
Perhaps that's something that could be on the agenda for our special meeting in June.
And I moved the item. Has it been moved?
It's been
Okay.
moved, but
Moved in second.
if there is no other discussion at this time, let's go ahead and vote, please. The motion carries on a 7-0 vote, which includes the student trustee. Thank you. Human Resources, number 11. Vice Chancellor Cindy Biscachil. So do you want to talk first, or do we start going through?
Disposable records.
Okay. All right. Do we have,
Move the item.
Second,
I'm sorry, was it Lisa first?
I said, yeah.
Okay, and I remind that on these, there's no student trustee vote. Okay, so is there any discussion on 11.1? Okay, let's vote, please. The motion carries on a 7-0, on a 6-0 vote. Okay, we now have a very special one. 11.2.
Yes, so I do have a readout on 11.2. We have 3 contracts before the board tonight. I am reading out the position, the name, and the salary in compliance with legal requirements. So the first contract is the position of Assistant Dean, Health and Wellness Director of Nursing at Saddleback College. The employee name is Dr. Linda Call. And contract dates May 1st, 2026 through June 30th, 2028. Range 20, Step 7, annual salary $242,508. The second position is President of Saddleback College, employee name Dr. Lonita Cordova. Contract dates June 30, 2026 through June 30, 2029. Range 27, Step 8, annual salary $368,232. And position 3 is Dean of Workforce Program Innovation and Partnerships at Saddleback College. Employee name is Miss Carrie Irwin. Contract dates June 1st, 2026 through June 30th, 2028. Range 22, Step 7, annual salary $269,208. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have a motion?
So move.
Second?
It's moved by trustee Milchiker and seconded by trustee Bartlett. Is there discussion? Okay, let's vote, please. The motion carries on a 6-0 vote. I would like to turn it over to Chancellor Barnes for a moment.
Right. Well, we have a very special guest with us in the audience today. Actually, a lot of special guests, but one in particular that I'm going to call out, and that is Dr. Lonita Cordova. And so before we ask her to cruise up to the mic to say a few words, I just want to share a little bit. Obviously, this was a very extensive process. There was a lot of phases to the search process, and after careful deliberation and consultation with the board and informed by the various constituent voices at Saddleback College, we were able to select Dr. Cordova to be the next president of Saddleback College. She has more than 20 years of experience in higher education, and she also served our country as an information systems technician for the United States Navy. And that might go hand in hand with a major project that starts with B that's happening right now. Oh, that's horrible that I even added that into my words right now. But again, right now she serves as the Assistant Superintendent of Student Services at San Joaquin Delta College, and she has served in various roles in both instruction and student services in her tenure in higher education. She's very committed to serving all students and the principles that you heard tonight with regard to DEIA, and very collaborative, innovative, and we're just super excited to have Dr. Lonita join us to lead Saddleback College into its next chapter. So with that in mind, let's hear it for Dr. Cordova.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Chancellor Barnes, Board of Trustees, community members. I'm excited to be here. I spent the afternoon looking at some properties in Dana Point, so hoping those applications go through, and we'll be moving down here within the next couple of weeks. But I'm really excited to get to know everyone. Going to set up a lot of meet and greets to get to know the constituent groups and just really build those relationships. So thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate it, and looking forward to working closely with you all soon. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, 11.3.
So 11.3 is an item that makes us compliant with CalPERS. They made a requirement that we were not aware of. They didn't notify us of a requirement, but our salary schedule and then our district management team were on separate documents. And so CalPERS is requiring us to put those together into one document. So we've gone back 3 years and we're putting all those documents combined. So you've already approved all of this information separately, but we need you to approve it tonight to make it one document so we can post it on our website and be compliant with CalPERS requirements.
Okay.
So moved.
Second?
It has been moved by trustee Jamal and seconded by trustee Bartlett. Is there any discussion? Okay, let's vote. The motion carries on a 6-0 vote. 11.4.
11.4, we have one change. We made the change, so if the online version now reflects a correction for item, one moment, please. Item G4. So my apologies to Giselle Leftwich. She has served our district for 40 years, 8 months, and there was a misprint on the first version that had her only at 24 years of service. So I wanted to correct it so that she gets her due level of appropriate service credit, and it's 40 years and 8 months. And so that has been corrected today.
It was in the agenda online.
Yes.
It's corrected
So the
online.
published version had originally said 24 years and 9 months. So our apologies, we wanted to correct it for the record.
Thank you. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second, so moved.
It has been moved by trustee Milchiker and seconded by trustee Rydell. Is there any discussion?
Yeah, I just thought I'd mention 3 employees that are returning, including Giselle Leftwich, who it was on the agenda today, online agenda, that it was 40 years and 8 months. So she served a little bit longer than I did. That was amazing. So we thank her for her service, and also Laurie Anderson served 11 years and 7 months, and Dana Manley, who we all know, serves 35 years and 1 month. So we thank them for their service and really wish them well in the future. I also didn't mention the retirements for academics, so would it be appropriate for me to mention them now?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
fine.
Okay, Karima Feldhaus, who's the Dean of Saddleback College Extended Learning for 22 years. She served at Irvine Valley College and Saddleback College, and I think she's a friend to all of us. Aaron Stursey, Director of Community Education, 12 years and 1 month. And William Stevenson, an English professor who served at Saddleback College for 24 years and 9 months. So we thank all of them for their service, and we thank President Stern for his service. And so we wish everybody well in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay, let's vote, please. The motion carries on a 6-0 vote. 11.5.
I just want to correct the record that 11.5, as the previous one, I said it goes back 3 years for these salary schedules, but my colleague over here and my colleague behind me, the executive director, corrected me. It is 6 academic years that you're approving to go back to publish the combined salary schedule and classification. So it's 6 years that you're voting on.
Okay, wait, let's have a motion, please.
Move the item.
It's been moved by trustee Bartlett, seconded by trustee Rydell. Is there any discussion? Okay, let's vote. The motion carries on a 6-0 vote. 11.6, Police Officer Association, Personnel Actions, Salary Schedules and Classification, etc.
Same circumstance, but this is for the Police Officers Association.
Okay, a vote?
So,
I'm
so
sorry,
moved.
I meant motion.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second?
It has been moved by trustee Jamal, seconded by trustee Bartlett. Is there any discussion?
I just want to thank our police officer for coming here and helping to protect us at their meetings. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Any other discussion? Let's vote, please. The motion carries on a 6-0 vote. Category number 12, Educational and Technology Services, Dr. McDonald. You what?
There's no.
Okay. Information items. 13.1, Monthly Financial Statement Report, Status Report. 13.2, Saddleback College and Irvine Valley College Speakers. Just a moment. 13.3, Quarterly Financial Status Report. 13.4, Retiree Trust Fund. 13.5, Pension Stabilization Trust Fund. 13.6, Quarterly Investment Report. 13.7, Basic Aid Report. At this time, it's time for oral reports from our managers, and let's start with Chancellor Barnes.
All right, thank you so much. I also want to extend a welcome and congratulations to student trustee Eric Chin. We had a lovely time at a coffee shop recently, and I was just so impressed, and I think you all will continue to be impressed with his leadership, so welcome. And then the other thing, you know, is I always have songs in my head, and for some reason, "'Tis the Season to Be Jolly" came up, and I was like, this is the wrong season to say that. But so I was trying to figure out, I actually asked AI to give me an equivalent, but we had bad reception. But anyway, but "'Tis the Season to Be Jolly," obviously, lots of, we heard, and we're all participating in all the year-end events. And obviously, the students are just like, it's the pinnacle of all the things and work that we've been doing, and the purpose of our life really comes to, you know, is illuminated at this time. But I'm also thinking about all the employees and all of you, truly. And obviously, there's been a lot of recognition events. I've really enjoyed those. But most recently, I had a chance to kind of make my way outside more casually than I typically do. I was just talking to President Stern, going, I love this. I start to go for walks, just trying to get some steps in and then chat with people. So I've been having a lot of informal chats with employees at Saddleback. And then the other day, I got lost actually at IVC because I parked behind the construction zone and I was trying to go to the scholarship event. So on my way there and the way back, I was able to chat with employees that I typically don't have a chance to chat with and kind of learn about their stories and the work that they do with students. So all that said, 'tis the season to be jolly. Congratulations to all of our students, but thank you to all of our employees for all of the work that you do every single day. The passion just stands out, whether it's at a formal event or just, you know, as I'm out and about at the campuses. So thank you for all your hard work, and super excited about where we are in our district and our colleges. Thank you.
Thank you. Irvine Valley College Vice President Rick Miranda.
Thank you. Like just a couple items. IVC hosted its inaugural First Gen Year-End Celebration themed "The Power of Being First, Turning Barriers into Strength." The event recognized resilience, courage, and the journey it takes to be the first in their family to attend college. The event was deemed beautiful and meaningful celebration with over 70 students and their families in attendance. While we're thinking about numbers, I heard somebody else earlier mention our early college. Our early college students are going to be, who may be walking across the stage, hopefully all of them will. 41 early college students will be attending. And that puts us at over 360 since the launch of the early college program as well. Also, sticking with numbers themes, 441 honor students will be attending and receiving this week as well. With a little over 2,000 students getting awards totaling more than 3,600 individual awards for these students. Also, I want to recognize, many of you have heard, the women's flag football. They made the first, they became the first tournament finalists to take the first place in the Orange Empire Conference. So we have an up-and-coming new sport in the western United States as well, because we have to play schools both 2 years and 4 years all across the western United States. So congratulations to them. And then finally, I'd like to speak to those who had the opportunity, our student art exhibit. It's a juried exhibit now that we hold. If you have not had the opportunity to visit the, it is there for you to visit between now and July 13th. So please stop by. Thank you.
Thank you. Saddleback President, Dr. Elliott Stern.
Thank you, President Inman. While the district has not had any relationship with the former prospective tenant at ATEP Victory AI in many months, we are not burying our head in the sand in the coming AI revolution. Saddleback faculty are leading the way across the state in many areas. I was briefed this past week by the AI task force in the English department that is completely rethinking not just how they assess writing, but how they teach composition and how they assess the critical thinking and other skills that we normally teach through the traditional essay in different ways. They've completely rewritten their SLOs for the freshman comp class C1000. So very proud of their work and want to shout out to them and all the faculty who are leading in our adoption and adaption with a very human approach to adoption and adaption to AI. I want to congratulate our softball team, which made it all the way to the championship game, the final game in the state championships, and then lost ultimately to Peralta. But, you know, Peralta needs a win, so we're happy for Peralta. The one piece of data I want to...
That's your parting shot, isn't it?
The one piece of data I want to point out from their season, I think is the most important, and I alluded to this in my comments last month. Their wins at home, win-loss ratio at home in their new facility was 21-6. Wow. If that doesn't say that form inspires performance, I don't know what does. And in that regard, we hope you'll join us for the opening of Math and Computer Science tomorrow with our ribbon cutting. I promise you it will drop jaws. It is an amazing building, and you'll be very impressed. And finally tonight, in the seconds remaining, I'd like to acknowledge the tragedy that occurred today with 3 people murdered at the Islamic Center of San Diego. And with this, embrace our Muslim colleagues and students, beating heart against beating heart, and remember that what we say at the beginning of the evening is that we are one nation under God, and that God is not specified. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Vice Chancellor Ed and Tech Services, Dr. McDonald.
No report. Shocking.
Vice Chancellor Human Resources, Dr. Viscachill.
Yes, I just want to take a moment to thank Robert Melendez for his leadership as faculty president. Human Resources works very closely with the unions, and the Faculty Association, as the rest of the unions in this district, have always had outstanding leadership. And where Robert has been thoughtful and engaged and professional, we don't always agree, but we have very thoughtful conversations about resolutions and outcomes. So I want to thank Robert. I know he's not here. I'm sure Deanna will let him know my comments. And I look forward to Deanna as another representation of an outstanding leader for FA. So welcome, Deanna.
Thank you. Vice Chancellor for Business Services, Anne Marie Gable.
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to bring to the board's attention that my May revision memo was in your board packet. So if you want something to put yourself to sleep at night, feel free to read that tonight. But overall, you know, I would say when the May revision came out, there were some surprises, even though it looks like that the economy is turning around and looking very good, and revenues are coming in much higher than had originally been anticipated at the state level. The governor still put forward a very conservative budget, you know, in his words, trying to stabilize the budget for the years to come. So not a lot of new changes from what was in January. The 2 major changes that they did make was he is proposing COLA of 2.87, which was the statutory COLA that came through, plus, you know, more. And he's indicating that the total COLA is 4.31%, but 1.4% of that COLA has been indicated that it's to be used to pay for 14 weeks of paid pregnancy leave that will be mandated upon the community colleges and the K-12. So
Wow.
that was one of the big changes. I would say the other change is pretty minor, but they were creating a new categorical program for an adult learner demonstration project that's only $9.7 million, but we don't know how that will be funded if it does in fact stay in the budget. And again, just a reminder, this is the May revision. Now what happens is both the Senate and the Assembly get together, come up with a budget. The areas that aren't in agreement with the Department of Finance's budget, then they go to consultation council before it's voted on. So we don't know what the budget will be until June 30th. I'm done.
Thank you very much. Well, it's been a delightful evening, and without objection, let's adjourn it.